And we're underway. Lane 1, Sydney Zodiacs. Lane 2, James Sheehan. Lane 3, Waratahs. Lane 4, Canberra Grammar. Lane 5, Sandy Point Danebank. Now remember, Canberra Grammar took it out this morning in a blanket finish from Zodiacs and Sandy Point Danebank. But it looks like it's going to be another close one here as they hit the halfway point. And it looks like it may be Canberra Grammar in 5 just in front, but Sydney Zodiacs in 1 also up there, and Waratahs, James Sheehan, and further out Sandy Point Danebank. It's Zodiacs putting it down to Canberra Grammar. Canberra Grammar maybe just in front, Sydney Zodiacs trying to get to them. Canberra Grammar and Sydney Zodiacs, they're fighting this out. Dragonhead to Dragonhead, they hit the line. Oh, Zodiacs may have reversed this morning's heat. Zodiacs in 1 from Canberra Grammar in another blanket finish. Great racing there amongst these junior crews. So it's either Sydney Zodiacs or Canberra Grammar in a tight finish. Maybe Zodiacs in 1 have got up right on the line. Now third may be James Sheehan from Sandy Point Danebank and Waratahs. Let's have a look at the electronic scoreboard as they've crossed the line, and it'll come up first is Lane 1, and that is Sydney Zodiacs. So they've got up. Second was Lane 4, Canberra Grammar, and third was Lane 5, and that was Sandy Point Danebank have got up to get third, and fourth will be Lane 2, that's James Sheehan, and fifth will be Lane 3, Waratahs. So another great race. That final should be a beauty again, with Zodiacs taking out this second round heat. So it's Zodiacs first in Lane 1. Second is Canberra Grammar in 4. Third is Sandy Point Danebank out there in Lane 5. And fourth will be Lane 2, and that is James Sheehan, and fifth will be Lane 3, Waratahs. So a good, very good heat there, with Sydney Zodiacs edging out Canberra Grammar, Sandy Point Danebank third from James Sheehan and Waratahs, and there's not much between those crews time-wise. So just looking at the scoreboard here, the winning time was 51.94. Second was 51.96. So very, very close. And not far back to the other crews. So 51.94 the winning time. 51.96 was second, so that's 200ths of a second, and 53.11 for third. So it was 200ths of a second separating first and second there, so that's going to be a very, very good final later on this morning, or this afternoon I should say. We're after midday, and so that should be a great final. So remembering that Canberra Grammar took out the first round heat, so Zodiac's reversing that, and the other crews not far behind those leading two crews. So our next race is race 27. This is the Senior A Mixed Heat 6 of round 2. So 5 second round heats of the Senior A. This is our 40 years and older paddlers. And they're just about set for a start. And we're underway here in race 27, Senior A Mixed Heat 6 of round 2. Pendragons from Penrith in 1, Central Coast in 2, Sudu in 3, Coffs Coast in 4, Sydney Tsunami in 5, and Bluefins out there in lane 6. Now it's Pendragons in 1 who have got away to a good start. They're probably just in front, but the challenges are now coming from Sydney Tsunami out in 5 and Bluefins in 6. Just in behind them we've got Sudu, Coffs Coast and Central Coast. But it's Pendragons in 1 still in front from Tsunami and Bluefins. These three are going to fight it out. Pendragons maybe just in front. Oh, it's tight. Pendragons or Tsunami in a very close go. Bluefins not far behind them will get 3rd. And then we've got Sudu probably in 3. Maybe Coffs Coast next. And then we've got Central Coast not far behind them in lane 2. Oh, this is another tight go here. Pendragons in 1 and Tsunami. Maybe Tsunami's got this, I'm not sure. It was very tight, very close on the line. Just looking at the scoreboard as it ticks over. So a tight go here between Pendragons in 1 and Sydney Tsunami out there in lane 5.
Flags or the horseshoes? Of these things.
And I'll just get a glimpse of the board here in a minute. And okay, so just clicking over here. First was lane 6, sorry, lane 5 rather, Sydney Tsunami. So Tsunami got it. Second, lane 1, Pendragons. Third, lane 6, and that was Bluefins. So Sydney Tsunami taking it out in a very tight finish. So first was Sydney Tsunami in 5, 51.64. 51.78 is the second time. That's Pendragons in 1. Third, lane 6, Bluefins. Fourth was lane 3, and that was Sudu. And the fifth was lane 2, that was Central Coast, and sixth was lane 4, Coffs Coast. So just confirming those placings. Tsunami in 5 first, Pendragons in 1 second, Bluefins in 6 third, Sudu in 3 fourth, Central Coast in 2 fifth, and Coffs Coast in lane 4 in 6th place. Now attention all team managers and team captains and crews. I'd like to put out a call for those crews in races 31 and 32. Senior A Mixed Heat 10. Different strokes, Balloon Red, Nature Coast, Northern Waratahs, Port Hacking. If you could make your way to the marshalling area. And a race 32, the Junior Open Heat 2, Sydney Zodiacs, Canberra Grammar, Sandy Point Danebank, Waratahs and James Sheehan. And also could the following crews for the first of our two finals for the morning session. Race 33, Senior B Mixed Final, Daz, Central Coast Pendragons, Balloon Red, Nowra, Newcastle, Northern Beaches. If you could also make your way toward the marshalling area. And Premier Mixed Final, Race 34, Sea Whale Black, Akka Daka, Different Strokes Gin, PDs Black, Pacific Dragons Black, Sloths Splash and Akka Waka. If you could also make your way towards that marshalling area. That race is 33 and 34. We've got 28 at the starting point and 29, 30, 31, 32 in the marshalling area.
Yeah, we went over there to get ready and be in the shade.
What about my back?
All right, we have a start now in race 28, Senior A Mixed Heat 7. And we've got in lane 1, Northern Beaches, lane 2, Balloon White, lane 3, Pinnacle, lane 4, Dragons Abreast Sydney, lane 6, lane 5 rather, Newcastle, lane 6, now in the blue. Now, not much between them, they go past the halfway mark, and it's Balloon White probably in lane 2. But on their inside, Northern Beaches also going well in lane 1. Further out, we're looking towards Newcastle in 5 and now in 6. But back on the Cockle Bay side, it might be Northern Beaches just in front of Balloon White. Newcastle are starting to make a move through, but they hit the line. Probably Northern Beaches rather, from Balloon White and Newcastle in 3rd, just in front of Nowra, who are out here in lane 6, then Dragons Abreast Sydney and Pinnacle. This is another tight go here, but I think you'll find it is Northern Beaches possibly in lane 1. That have taken this out. So we're just waiting here now. It'll click over in a minute. So first was lane 1, and that was Northern Beaches. Second was lane 2, that was Balloon White. So Northern Beaches taking it out from Balloon White. And we'll just bring it up now. So first lane 1, Northern Beaches. Second lane 2, Balloon White. Third was lane 5, that was Dragons Abreast, Newcastle rather, I think I called Newcastle, so Newcastle. Fifth was lane 6, that was Nowra. And sixth was lane 3, that was Pinnacle. So just recapping, Northern Beaches in 1, crossing in first place, Balloon White in lane 2, second. Third was lane 5, Newcastle. Fourth, lane 6, Nowra. Fifth, lane 4, Dragons Abreast Sydney. And sixth, lane 3, Pinnacle. That's the way they've crossed the line here in this race. So a good win there to Newcastle from Balloon. And the other crews are coming through there. Now, just an amendment there. Looking at the scoreboard, fourth was Dragons Abreast Sydney in lane 4, and fifth was lane 6 Nowra. I think I called it the other way, or announced it the other way. So it was Northern Beaches from Balloon White, Newcastle third, Dragons Abreast Sydney fourth, Nowra fifth, and Pinnacle in sixth spot. So that was race 28, Senior A Mixed Heat 7 of round 2. Now, don't forget, as we get into the afternoon, and we've still got the finals to come of the morning session, and we've got the women's and opens competition to follow, to keep up that water supply to yourself, keep yourself nice and hydrated. There is free water available around Cockle Bay. Just look for the signs, free water. Get that sunscreen on and hat and try and keep out of the sun as much as possible. And please, once more, do not go near that water's edge or sit or hang your legs over the water's edge. Also, the only public toilets are in the Harbourside complex, so you'll need to go there to go to the toilet. And please keep an eye on your teammates and any children that may be around your area. Also, while you're over here celebrating the Chinese New Year, of course the Year of the Dog, this is the 22nd anniversary of the City of Sydney's Chinese New Year Festival, and also the 18th year the city has produced these dragon boat racing or races. And while you're over on the harbour side or the Western Promenade, please visit our merchandising marquees, merchandising area, where our sponsors, partners and supporters have their marquees. You'll find AM there, coconut water plus the 100 plus isotonic drink for just $1, and AM, associate partner of this festival. Of course, WSFM, and we saw the Team Jonesy and Team Amanda challenge earlier, just not long ago. The HKETO, Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office marquee also there, and also some of our suppliers and merchandisers there with a great range of dragon boating equipment apparel and accessories, so please visit that merchandising area. Also, the Sydney Chinese New Year Festival, proudly produced by the City of Sydney, and much thanks goes to Dragon Boats New South Wales. All participants, staff and volunteers here today that make this festival possible. The Chinese Youth League for their contribution towards the festival and place management in New South Wales. And a big thank you to all the partners this year, associate partners AM and Star, support partner Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office and Sydney Airport, media partners KISS 106.5 and WSFM and SBS, government partners Properties New South Wales and the Sydney Opera House, and finally the City of Sydney event team to bring you this. And of course our official charity partner for 2018 is of course Guide Dogs, being the year of the dog. Guide Dogs New South Wales ACT, and you'll see their tent or marquee in the merchandising area. Please go and visit them. They do a wonderful job. Guide Dogs New South Wales ACT. Now we're underway with our next race. This is race 29, Senior A mixed heat 8 of round 2. Pit Water in lane 1, Deep Water in 2, Sandy Point 3, Colour City 4 and Illawarra in 5. Now we'll look for the outer lanes. Now back on the Cockle Bay side, that's Pit Water. They've raced very well today and paddled very well. They're out in front. In actual fact, Pit Water has put a bit of a gap on the rest of the field. The interest, I think, will be in the minor placings, but Pit Water going nicely. Colour City coming through in the orange, and also there Sandy Point in the green, but it's going to be Pit Water Dragon Boat Racing Club from the Northern Beaches up there in Sydney, and Pit Water take this out. Colour City will grab second just in front of probably Sandy Point in the green, and then we've got Deep Water and Illawarra crossing together there for 4th and 5th. Yeah, so good racing there, and good paddling there from the Pit Water Club, and they've taken this out, this heat out, and some nice paddling from their crew there. I think you'll find that they've taken this out from probably Colour City and Sandy Point.
No, I mean like per paddle, she'd put it in and then she'd take it out once it's right behind her.
So just looking at 3rd is lane 3, 4th lane 2, and 5th is lane 5. So first is lane 1, and that is Pit Water. Second is lane 4, and that is Colour City. Third was lane 3, that was Sandy Point. Fourth was so I'll just go through this again. First was lane 1, second lane 4, third was lane 3, fourth lane 2, which was Deep Water, fifth was lane 5. So that's as the results have come up there, but Pit Water taking it out from Colour City, Sandy Point 3rd, and then Deep Water and Illawarra. Our next race is Heat 9 of the Senior A Mixed. And those crews making their way to the starting point there, just near the Pivot Bridge. Now, this one, we've got lane 1 is DSA, Dragon Sports Association. Lane 2 is Hawkesbury. Lane 3, Western Waratahs. Lane 4 is East, and lane 5 is FFB. Right, just about set now for race 30, Senior A Mixed Heat 9 of round 2. Places in that Senior A Mixed final certainly taking here in this second round heat. And they're underway, and a pretty good start to DSA in 1, Hawkesbury in 2, Western Waratahs in 3, East in 4, and FFB out there in lane 5. And they've really got into their work here, and look at FFB, they're really ploughing through the water here. The paddle's going, the spray going, so FFB out in 5, now DSA back in 1, also going strongly, then East not far away in lane 4, followed by Hawkesbury in the orange, and then dropping back behind them is Western Waratahs. But it's in lanes 1 and 5, it may be DSA still just in front of FFB, who are really flying. East trying to hold on to 3rd, just in front of Hawkesbury. They go to the line, they hit it. Oh, DSA, looks like they've taken it out. DSA in 1 from FFB out here in 5, now 3rd. Probably East grabbed 3rd in lane 4, just in front of Hawkesbury in 2, and the Western Waratahs next across the line. Yeah, good race there, but it looks like it from here, as they come down towards the broadcast tower, it is DSA in lane 1. We'll grab this. So DSA in 1 from FFB out there in 5, and possibly East grabbing 3rd just in front of Hawkesbury. So as the scoreboard clicks over here, first was lane 1, that is DSA, so they've taken this out. Second was lane 5, and that was FFB out wide there. Third, lane 4, that is East, and fourth was lane 2, that was Hawkesbury, and fifth will be lane 3, and that is Western Waratahs. So DSA taking this out in lane 1 from FFB in lane 5. Third was East in lane 4, Hawkesbury 4th in 2, and 5th was lane 3, Western Waratahs. Attention team managers and crews, here is the start list for the Junior Mixed Final, race 35 on your program. Here is the lane allocation for these crews make their way to the marshalling area. Junior Mixed Final, race 35, lane 1, Sandy Point Danebank, lane 2, James Sheehan, lane 3, Canberra Grammar, lane 4, Sydney Zodiacs, lane 5, Waratahs. Could those crews please make their way to the marshalling area, race 35, Junior Mixed Final.
in your way here.
No, not at all.
Is there any bit of shade you could find?
No, that's all right. It's fine. I'm sitting across.
And we have a start now in race 31, the Senior A Mixed Heat 10 of round 2. Lane 1, different strokes. Lane 2, Balloon Red. Lane 3, Nature Coast. Lane 4, Northern Waratahs. Lane 5 is the crew from Port Hacking in their familiar red caps. And they've got well past the halfway mark. And again, lane 1 is different strokes who have set up a good lead here and rating nicely. They've established a very good lead, and different strokes are powering away now. They're probably about a half a boat length to maybe more in front, and different strokes in lane 1 are going to take this out. Now second is going to be Balloon Red in 2. Third, very tight there, Northern Waratahs or Port Hacking, probably Port Hacking just in front of Northern Waratahs, and Nature Coast just in behind those leading crews. So yeah, good win there. I think you'll find it's going to be different strokes by a good margin. Second will be lane 2, that's Balloon Red, and third is lane 4, and that is Northern Waratahs have actually grabbed third in front of Port Hacking, who will be fourth, and Nature Coast fifth. So third was lane 4, that was Northern Waratahs have grabbed third, well done to them. Fourth was lane 5, Port Hacking, and fifth was lane 3, Nature Coast. So different strokes taking it out from Balloon Red, Northern Waratahs grabbing third, Northern Waratahs third, Port Hacking fourth, and Nature Coast fifth. That brings us on to the last of our round 2 heats, and this is the Junior Open, and that will be followed by our finals, which is races 33 to 37. The first of those finals, the Senior B Mixed Final, and that will be followed by the Premier Mixed Final, the Junior Mixed Final, for the first of the marking area. Just waiting on the start list for Senior A Mixed Final. We just have that final event. Then, of course, main allocation for the Junior Open Final race. And the last thing of round 2, which is coming right up. So it's been a very good morning and early afternoon session here, and some great racing. Looking forward to that Junior Mixed Final and the Junior Open Final, very close racing. And the Premier Mixed Final should be viewed with different strokes in Pacific Dragons Black, Akadaka and Stross Flash, Sterling there, with outside chances Aka Waka and Silver Black. It should be a really good race. Look forward to watching that very, very shortly. All right, and we're well underway here with this next race, which is the last of the second round heats, the Junior Open, and it looks like it's Canberra Grammar in lane 2 that have opened up a very good lead here. Canberra Grammar out in front from Sydney Zodiacs in 1, and then looking James Sheehan probably in 3rd in lane 5, but Canberra Grammar crosses in 1st from Sydney Zodiacs in 1 second. Now tight for 3rd, maybe James Sheehan just in front of Sandy Point, Danebank and Waratahs. So we just picked up the tail end of that race, and that was the Junior Open. So as they cross the line there, it's going to be Canberra Grammar in this Junior Open. They're pretty strong in this junior competition, Junior Open, and they've shown the way here today. So it's Canberra Grammar crossed in 1st, Sydney Zodiacs in lane 1. We'll grab 2nd. And the interest now is in 3rd, trying to pick it up on the electronic scoreboard. So 1st was lane 2, Canberra Grammar. 2nd was lane 1, Sydney Zodiacs. Now 3rd was lane 5, that was James Sheehan. 4th was lane 4, and that was Waratahs. And 5th was Sandy Point, Danebank. So just to recap, Canberra Grammar in lane 2. 1st, Sydney Zodiacs lane 1, 2nd. 3rd was lane 5, James Sheehan. 4th, Waratahs in lane 4. And 5th, Sandy Point, Danebank in lane 3. Alright, so that brings us on now to the first of our finals. This is the Senior B Mixed Final. Now also attention team managers, team crews and captains. Here is the start list for the Senior A Mixed Final, race 36. Following crews, could you make your way to the marking area if you're not already there? The Senior A Mixed Final, race 36. Lane 1, FFB. Lane 2, Sydney Tsunami. Lane 3, Different Strokes. Lane 4, DSA. Lane 5, Pitwater Dragon Boat Racing Club. And Lane 6, Northern Beaches. So they are the 6 starters for the Senior A Mixed Final. If you could assemble your crews and start to make your way to the marshalling area.
Not yet, because it's got to get made.
All right, we've got the first of 5 finals here from the morning and early afternoon session. This is the Senior B Mixed Final. That'll be followed by the Premier Mixed Final, the Junior Mixed Final, the Senior A Mixed Final, and the Junior Open Final. That will make way then for the afternoon session, which of course is the Women's and Open divisions. And that will follow immediately on from the Junior Open Final. All right, here we go. 2018 Chinese New Year Dragon Boat Festival. The Senior B Mixed Final. And remembering that presentations will take place, prize giving and presentations at the end of today's racing in the Palm Grove area. Just to the left of where the team marquees and the merchandising areas are. So that's in the Palm Grove area. Presentations, prize giving there today. Now here they are for the trophies and medals for the Senior B Mixed Final. And Senior B, of course, now 50 years and older paddlers. All right, we're underway with our first final here of the 2018 Chinese New Year Dragon Boat Festival. This is the Senior B Mixed Final. In Lane 1, Daz. Lane 2, Central Coast Pendragons. Lane 3, Bayloon Red. Lane 4, Nowra. Lane 5, Newcastle. Lane 6, Northern Beaches. Now it's a fairly even line as they're well past the halfway mark. Looking for a leader here. Maybe Bayloon Red in Lane 3 just in front of Nowra on the outside in 4. And then Central Coast Pendragons in 2, Daz in 1. But it's in the middle here. It's Bayloon Red who get to the lead now from Nowra. Bayloon Red are going to take out this final, and Bayloon Red, I think, have edged out Nowra. Close for third, either Daz or Central Coast Pendragons in lanes 1 and 2 respectively, then Newcastle and Northern Beaches. We'll come back to that result in a minute, but all right, it's a tight finish here, but it's going to be the Bayloon Red crew are going to take this out. In lane 3 from Nowra, and very close for third, either Daz or the Central Coast. So let's have a look at this. We'll just trying to line up the scoreboard here. And first, come up, it'll click over in a minute. First will be lane 3, and that is Balloon Red. Second, lane 4, that is Nowra. Third, lane 1, and that is Daz. So Daz, Dragons of West Sydney have grabbed third. Fourth will be lane 5, Newcastle. They've grabbed fourth. Fifth, lane 2, Central Coast Pendragons have actually finished back in 5th spot, and 6th will be lane 6, Northern Beaches. So well done to Balloon Red taking out this Senior B mixed final in a very good race. So Balloon Red taking it out from Nowra. In lane 4, third was Daz. They actually grabbed third in lane 1, so the Dragons of West Sydney. Fourth was lane 5, that was the Central Coast Pendragons, and 6th was the Newcastle, sorry, was lane 5, and 6th Central Coast Pendragons and Northern Beaches. So Balloon Red taking this out from Nowra. Daz finishing third in lane 1, then Newcastle, Central Coast Pendragons in 5th, and Newcastle in 6th. So well done, congratulations to Balloon Red taking that out, and from memory I think they may not have been beaten today. They actually, that might be a clean sweep for them. They took out the second round heat, and just checking, and they also took out their first round heat. So a clean sweep to the crew from Balloon Red.
You know, big guy, big dude, huge, he paddles in both crews, absolute legend. You've seen him here.
All right, attention team managers and crews and captains. Here is the start list for race 37, the Junior Open Final. Lane allocations. Lane 1, Waratahs. Lane 2, Sandy Point, Danebank. Lane 3, Canberra Grammar. Lane 4, Sydney Zodiacs. Lane 5, James Sheehan. For those 5 crews, those Junior Open finalists, please make your way to the marshalling area as soon as possible. I realise that some of you will have come from that Junior Open heat, but the Junior Open final, and you may be backing up in the Junior Mixed Final. But that's the start list. Waratahs in 1, Sandy Point, Danebank 2, Canberra Grammar 3, Sydney Zodiacs 4, James Sheehan 5. Next final, this should be a beauty, the Premier Mixed Final. Two ACCA crews in this, Dakar in 2, Wacker in 6. Set for a start. Just having a few little problems with the wind here. The wind's starting to get up a bit. And the starter just having a few problems lining them up to ensure a fair dispatch. And we're underway now in the Premier Mixed Final for 2018. Sea Whale Black in 1, Akadaka in 2, Different Strokes Gin in 3, Pacific Dragons Black in 4, Sloth Splash in 5, and Aka Waka out there in 6. And have a look at them go. They hit the halfway mark already. Virtually a straight line here. This is going to be a cracker of a finish here. It may be in the centre. Different Strokes Gin maybe just in front. Pacific Dragons Black not far away. And Akadaka in lane 2 also up there. And further out Aka Waka in lane 6 coming from the outside. It might be Akadaka maybe just in front from Different Strokes Gin. And Aka Waka out wide and Pacific Dragons in the middle. They hit the line off. I don't know, blanket finish. Anybody's guess here. Maybe Different Strokes Gin from Akadaka in lane 2. It flew home there. Sloth Splash also up there. Pacific Dragons Black not far off. Aka Waka out wide in 6 could be the one that gets a placing. And Seaway All Black. I'm going to leave this to the judges. They're coming front on here at the broadcast box, but this was a great. I touted this as one of the best finals today, and it was. And we're just waiting for it. It's already flashed through. Some of you have probably seen the result, but up it'll come. Seaway All Black is 6th. First was lane 6. Aka Waka has done it out on the far side in lane 6. Second lane 3, and that is Different Strokes Gin, I should say. Third was lane 2. Akadaka has grabbed third. Fourth was lane 5. Sloth Splash, and 5th was lane 4. Pacific Dragons Black, and 6th was lane 1. And that was Seaway All Black. So third goes to Different Strokes, second goes to Different Strokes Gin, third to Akadaka, fourth to lane 5, that's Sloth Splash, fifth to lane 4, Pacific Dragons Black, and sixth to lane 1, Seaway All Black. Well, Aka Waka from the outside, lane 6, they've done a Kieran Perkins in lane 8 here. Taking this out, Aka Waka first, Different Strokes Gin in lane 3 second. Third was Akadaka in 2. They've grabbed third. I think I called over the system them Sloth Splash 4th, Pacific Dragons Black 5th, and Seaway All Black in 6th spot. Great final. Aka Waka, lane 6, taking it out. Yeah, great final there, and just looking at the times, if it clicks over first, lane 6, Aka 46.69, second was 47.1, so very close there, Different Strokes Gin, and third was 47.14, lane 2, and that was Akadaka. So Aka Waka taking it out in a very smart time of just over 46 seconds. Now attention team managers, team captains and crews, I'd like to put out a call for those crews in races 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 to kick off the women's and open categories this afternoon. Race 38, Premier Women Heat 1. the combined FFB Bluefins crew in 1, Northern Beaches 2, ACCA in 3, Sydney Zodiacs 4, DSA 5. Race 39, Premier Women's Heat 2, Pinnacle Sudu combined crew in 1, Sandy Point in 2, Different Strokes in 3, Sloughs in 4, Sydney Tsunami in 5. Race 40, Premier Women's Heat 3 of round 1, Nature Coast in 1, Naga Spirit 2, Pacific Dragons 3, CYL 4, Deepwater in 5, and race 41, the Senior A Open Heat 1, Northern Waratahs, Central Coast Pendragons combined crew, Bayloon, FFB Northern Beaches combined crew, Coffs Coast and Sudu. You could also make your way to the marshalling area. So that's races 38 to 41. You can make your way to the marshalling area. Now, next final is the junior mixed final. This should be another very good final here, very close racing all day in the 2 heats. Canberra Grammar taking out first round heat, Sydney Zodiacs taking out the second round heat. So they'll be the crews to watch in lanes 3 and 4. And don't forget to visit our merchandise area. Also, I've just noticed that Team Elite, the official merchandisers, are here today. So they would have official merchandise of today's Chinese New Year for 2018. So they're right on the corner of the team marquees. So if you need to look at some mementos or souvenirs of today's Chinese New Year Dragon Boat Festival, see Team Elite down there, the official merchandisers for dragon boating, and they're down there just on the corner of the team tents just before you go into that merchandising area. And of course that merchandising area supporters, suppliers, sponsors and partners all having marquees there today, so please visit them. All right, we have a start now in the junior mixed final, race 35 on today's program. Lane 1, Sandy Point Danebank. Lane 2, James Sheehan. Lane 3, Canberra Grammar. Lane 4, Sydney Zodiacs. And lane 5 is the Waratahs. Now this is going to be a very, very good race here. We've got Canberra Grammar in lane 3 and Sydney Zodiacs in 4, both heat winners today in the earlier rounds. Also going well in lane 1, Sandy Point, Danebank, James Sheehan right up there, and Waratahs out here in lane 5. But it's in the middle, and Canberra Grammar have got to the lead here. Zodiac's trying to go with them, and holding down third is probably Sandy Point, Danebank, but Canberra Grammar in the final have pulled out all stops here, and it is Canberra Grammar who are going to take this out, and Canberra Grammar I think will taking it out from Zodiacs in a tight finish. Canberra Grammar from Sydney Zodiacs. It's very, very close. I think Canberra Grammar, and then Sandy Point, Danebank, and then James Sheehan and Waratahs. Could be proved wrong here. And we'll look to the official scoreboard. But lane 3 has got it, and that is Canberra Grammar. Canberra Grammar taking down to lane 3, second. We'll just wait till that comes up on that scoreboard again. So first, lane 3, Canberra Grammar. Second is lane 1, so Sandy Point, Danebank have grabbed second in front of Sydney Zodiacs, who are third in lane 4. So Sandy Point, Danebank grabbing second place from Sydney Zodiacs. But Canberra Grammar taking it out from Sandy Point, Danebank in 1. Sydney Zodiacs in lane 4, third. Fourth is lane 5, that is Waratahs. They've grabbed fourth, and James Sheehan in lane 2 will be fifth. So Canberra Grammar taking out this junior mixed final in another very exciting final. From Sandy Point, Danebank in lane 1, grabbing second. So a very good performance from them. And Sydney Zodiacs finishing third in lane 4. And officially fourth, lane 5, Waratahs, and fifth will be James Sheehan in lane 2. So well done, congratulations to Canberra Grammar taking out the junior mixed final.
Sunshine.
No, we're going to stand over here. I'm not sure.
close, yeah. You always watch.
Anyway, so the
Did you know when someone with one of those speeds going?
yeah, well, some people seem to be interested in it. He knows these guys, don't he? And they go out on
Now, next race is the Senior A Mixed Final, race 36. And we hope you're enjoying the Chinese New Year Dragon Boat Festival here this year, and proudly brought to you by the City of Sydney. And the City of Sydney event team, who work tirelessly throughout the year to present this. Also, don't forget, keep yourself well hydrated today. There is free water available around the site. Please make sure you wear sunscreen hat, keep out of that sun, and watch out for your teammates. And unfortunately, the only public toilets are in the Harbourside complex, so you need to make your way over there. All right, not far off a start in the Senior A Mixed Final. And we have a start now in race 36, the Senior A Mixed Final. FFB in 1, Sydney Tsunami in 2, Different Strokes in 3, DSA in 4, Pittwater in 5, and Northern Beaches in lane 6. So we'll look towards the centre lanes here, and it looks like it may be Different Strokes. Me just in front of DSA. Out there in lane 4, holding down second, and then back to Sydney Tsunami in 2, and then we've got Pittwater out in 5, Northern Beaches in 6, and FFB now starting to come into it in 1, but it's in the middle. It's Different Strokes, maybe still just in front. Here's FFB in lane 1, also flashing home, Tsunami in 2, and they hit the line. Oh, I don't know, this is another blanket finish here. Oh, it's very tight. There's 3 of them, maybe 4 in a line. Tsunami, Different Strokes, DSA and FFB. FFB came with a withering burst there in lane 1. I'm not sure, we'll have to leave this to the judges as they hit the line. We'll check it on the electronic scoreboard. This is a tight one, and just trying to pick it up now. And it'll come up now first. Lane 1's got it, FFB, lane 1, FFB, second lane 3. And that is Different Strokes. So, lane 1, FFB, they came with a withering burst there along that Cockle Bay side to take it out. So it's FFB first in lane 1, second lane 3, that's Different Strokes. Third is lane 2, and that is Sydney Tsunami. They were right in the mix there. Fourth was lane 4, that was DSA, and they were right up there. There was 4 of them basically in a line. And fifth was Pittwater, and sixth will be Northern Beaches. Well, what a great race on that Cockle Bay side there, and FFB taking it out from different strokes. And Northern Beaches has actually finished fifth.